Hello everyone, and let's dive into Malicious Compliance subreddit, where people lose a lot of money, get lost in the forest, and wear bras on their heads. The first story is by Grey Woman 7. I was told I had to wear a bra, so I did. This happened last week. I was swimming laps at an indoor pool near my house. I am a woman who has had a double mastectomy without reconstruction. My chest is flat. I am totally comfortable with how I look, but prefer that my scars are covered when I'm in public. As far as swimming goes, women's suits have extra material to accommodate typical chests, so when I wear them, they're baggy. For backyard swimming, I just use a couple safety pins to keep it in place. But for lap swimming, it balloons open like a parachute full of water and creates so much drag that it's difficult to swim. Tight competition swimsuits do not have enough coverage for the way the scars wrap around my sides under my arms. To get around this, I wear running shorts and a tight-fitting, dark-colored tank top. It works great. Last week, I was approached as I left the pool facility by a worker. He said that they had received a complaint that a woman in the pool was wearing a shirt, which is allowed, but no sports bra underneath. He then said their policy requires women who are not in swimsuits to have sports bras under their shirt. He told me that the policy started when they had a problem where a woman would come in to swim and only wear a thin white shirt and no bra in the pool during family swim hours. I explained politely that I've had a double mastectomy and do not need a bra. I said that the swimsuits don't fit me and my top is very dark and not see-through, plus even if it was see-through, all anyone would see are scars. He said he understood and felt bad, but the management requires that dress code be followed. I explained how I was much more covered up than anyone else in the pool and in fact was wearing exactly what he was wearing, minus the whistle. He was in shorts and a tank top. There were guys in there with just tight-fitting swim bottoms and women in bikinis. I look Amish next to them. He again said he was sorry but couldn't make an exception to the rules. I asked for the rules in writing and he gave me a printout which did say what he was telling me. This brings us to yesterday. I dug a sports bra out of a bin of old clothes and brought it with me. I wore the same shorts and top otherwise. When I got in the water, I put the band of the bra around my head with the straps sticking up like bunny ears. People in the other lanes got a kick out of it once I explained what I was doing. I started warming up with my kickboard thinking the guy would come over and we would sort out this nonsense. Well, a lady in business clothes comes over and tells me I need to take the bra off my head. I would like to say here that this was adult lap swim, where no kids in the pool area. I explained all to her and said I was following the rule to the letter. I was wearing a bra, which is all that required. We went back and forth with her saying I knew it had to be worn normally. I said I couldn't wear it the way others do because I don't have anything to fill it in and it would ride up to my chin while swimming without anything to hold it in place. She said I could use skin-safe glue. Yeah, no, I'm not going to glue unnecessary garments to my body and I told her as much. I finally said that unless she could state the rule I was breaking, that I would like to continue my workout so I could get home to my kids and let the babysitter go home. She walked away. I swam for an hour with that bra pierced on my head, then showered and went home. This morning, I checked my email, which is linked to my membership at the Aquatic Center, to find a message from her. They will not be changing their policies, but I have been granted a special exception to the rule, provided I continue to wear non-see-through tops. I wish they would have just gotten rid of the silly bra rule, but I'll take this. And if I ever see another woman struggling with her swimming suit over a flat chest, I'll let them know that they can wear something more comfortable. The next story is by I Have No Fish, Only Water. Won't cancel my internet unless you're unable to provide service. Okay. So, when I was living in the city, I had a contract with my internet provider. After a year in my apartment, I decided to move in with my then boyfriend, now husband, on a farm. A farm on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. So, I called to cancel my internet. Me. I need to cancel. I'm moving. Them. Interrupting me. Your service moves with you. You signed a contract for many years and it only ends early if we are unable to provide you service. You are unable to provide service. I'm moving to a rural area. Not possible. We provide service to many rural communities. What's your new postal code? That's for this name of the town. We service in that town. But I'm not living in that town, that's just my postal address. I'm living on a farm outside of that town. They repeat contract speech with the additional offer of an absurd buyout fee if I want to cancel my contract early without cause. Cue malicious compliance. Then, out of nowhere, I'm like, fine, you know what? I would love high-speed internet instead of this crappy satellite internet. When can you come? The install guy had to call me 3 times from the van, twice because he was lost and a 3rd time because he was stuck in a snowdrift. When he finally arrived, it took him about 30 seconds to determine that there is obviously no infrastructure for high-speed internet. I offered him hot coffee for his trouble coming out, and he happily cancelled my service free of charge and accepted my equipment return. It costed internet company a 4-hour call out when you count the drive, just to keep one impossible contract. The next story is by Call Car Mott. Wait, I'm not supposed to think what the customer wants? As a quick catch-up, I work at a printing hub as a print and copy expert, working with the machines to get them to print, setting up files, and quality checking things before they come out. It is a pretty laid-back job, and I really enjoy the technical side of it, but I don't really enjoy my co-workers. Don't get me wrong, however, I have no doubt they are good people, but I feel that they have settled into the job a little too much, and every little change gets them riled up. And then there is my manager, Kay, who is a good person at heart, but recently stress has been causing her to take it out on the employees. I stick with it because up until now she has been good. She at least deserves for me to stick through a stressful moment, especially coming into holiday season. Anyways, the incident. 3 days ago, I was working with the big color machine printer. A rather large job came in for 200 books. This particular job was a rush order and needed to get out of the same day, and the value of the job exceeded for over $2,000. It was also a very important client I have worked with in the past, so I wanted to be extra sure everything was okay. When I printed my proof and looked through the booklet, I noticed rectangular boxes where text should have been. This is normally caused by our computers or printers missing the font that the customer had used, and I suspect they used a different font that they normally use for the Halloween season. Please, people, provide your print studios with PDF, not Word files. So I called up the customer to figure out the font they needed, but there were no answer. Well, frig. The thing was that this order needed to start printing immediately in order to reach the deadline, unless I dedicate using both color printers we have to print the order, which is actually not recommended as the color calibrations are different on both printers for some reason. I mailed the customer and put the order on hold. I knew the customer would want those fonts. Later on, my manager, who we call Kay, asked me about why the order was still on hold, and I explained that the file was not correct. I even brought up the file and showed her. She agreed that the file was incorrect, however, she insisted on printing the order anyway. The order is a rush job and they absolutely need that order immediately. To which I said that I understand that, but the file is wrong. If we produce the file and the customer rejects it, then we are out of the money to produce the job. Okay, SLA is more important than the quality job. We won't get money if we fail to deliver on time. Me, silently reminding myself that SLA includes quality. Okay, I have dealt with this client before. I know they will reject this. I am fairly certain they would prefer waiting a day to get this stuff rather than receiving something they can't use. But she told me to just print the order anyways. I was dying inside, but I said, okay. So this is funny because last week Kay got after me about the exact opposite situation. There was an order we couldn't do correctly because our machines were dumping toner on the files. I assured Kay that I was certain the customer would not mind the toner dump, but she said I was not thinking of the customer. I was thinking of the customer as I was the customer. That was my order. Now I am thinking about the customer and being told to ignore that. Okay, sure. So I printed the order, all $2,000 worth of it. And it was a massive ordeal which I knew was all going to the trash. But I did what Kay asked. Before I left for the day, I checked our business email and saw that the client did not email us back. Also tried calling again and no response. I took one of the books with me and left for the day. Rather than going straight home, I stopped at the business I knew would be selling or giving out what we were producing since it was on the way, and showed the cashier. The cashier was absolutely horrified and immediately contacted the manager, who was unfortunately out for the day. The employee thanked me for going out of my way to inform them and gave me some store credit which I used on some paint brushes. Oh yeah, did I mention this place was one of the local gaming stores I started going to? I knew those booklets weren't supposed to look like that. The fallout did not happen until today. The order was completely thrown out and we were forced to redo the entire thing at no charge, $2,000 down the drain. Kay, for the first time I can recall, tried to throw me under the bus when the head office asked us what happened, but my coworkers supported me and I pointed out on the job ticket that I had actually failed to quality check. I had no idea how that order went to shipping. I don't know what has gotten into Kay lately, but she has been extremely off. Before readers start offering advice on how to proceed and such, I have already started recording situations like this and other occurrences happening around the facility and advising my coworkers to do the same. Also, I'm updating my resume, just in case. I really would not rather leave this job, but better safe than sorry. The next story is by Malicious Reddit. Want me to cancel all your subscriptions? Yeah, I can do that. I used to work at a call center for one of the biggest teleproviders in our country. Mobile subscriptions, internet, landlines, all that. The call center I worked at was only for business clients and not private customers, so it was not unusual for a client to have a lot of mobile subscriptions. There is one thing to note. I am not sure how changing a mobile providers in other countries works, but in my country, you have to get the other company you want to transfer to order the numbers from where you are now to them. You cannot just cancel your subscription and then have it transferred. If you cancel your subscription, it stops working right away. If you want to transfer after all, then you need to order a reopening of the subscription of that phone number for it to be able to transfer to the other teleprovider. And the reopening is treated as a new order and a new subscription. So it's an ordeal to go through. Also, this is important for the story. If you have a debt collection case for the invoice with the teleprovider you're currently at, you will then no longer be able to get new subscriptions with that company until the debt collection is paid in full. Now, onto my story. I get a call from a customer who had maybe 10 or 15 mobile subscriptions with us as well as an internet subscription, and apparently they worked in sales. The customer was very angry on the phone. He tells me that they have received a debt collection case from us for an invoice they had not paid, which was true. There was an invoice in our system that they had not paid, and it had indeed gone into debt collection. He then told me that he knew about the invoice but just had not bothered to pay it. I mean, what would you expect to happen if you didn't pay it? He then proceeded to berate me for sending them a debt collection and demanded that we cancel it immediately. One other thing to note is that none of the people that worked on the floor of the call center have the authority to cancel debt collection cases. We need to send a case to another department for that. He would not let me send a case or even would not let me call a supervisor to maybe expedite things. He said that I should cancel it right away and he would cancel all of other subscriptions with us right this second. Cue malicious compliance. Normally, when people threaten to cancel their subscriptions because of reasons, they mean they want to transfer to another provider, and I usually refer them to contact that other provider so they can start the process. This time, however, since the customer was being a butthole, I did not do that. I asked him point blank, "Do you want to cancel your subscriptions with us immediately?" Customer: "Yes." Me: "Are you sure?" Customer: "Yes." Me: "Okay then, I will cancel all your subscriptions right this second." Customer: "Good, you butthole." I logged the call with every detail that he had said and asked me to, and added an extra line of, "If you have any doubts, just listen to the recording of the call." I gutted it and went ahead and cancelled all of the subscriptions this client had with us, all of them, even their internet subscription. After about an hour, one of my coworkers got a very angry call from the client, who was forced to call from another phone because guess what? Their subscription was cancelled. I was done for the day, so I just went home, but my coworker filled me in the next day. The client had yelled and screamed that they were no longer able to call out or receive calls, as well as their internet was down. My colleague had read the log I created and informed the client that they had terminated our services, so of course they would not receive any calls, nor make them. They demanded that we open up the subscriptions again so that they could do their work, but again my coworker had to inform that it would not be possible since they had a debt collection case that needed to be paid first, or else none of the orders they would put in go through. After more screaming and profanities, my coworkers had to end the call. The next day I had the evening shift, but I had saved the client's information to see if anything else had happened. Apparently the debt collection got paid and the subscriptions reopened. Also, they had ordered a transfer to another provider. I have no idea how much money they lost, but for a sales team not to be able to work for over 24 hours, I can only guess that it was a lot. Also, as a cherry on top of things, they were in a contract period with us. If they break that contract, which they did, they had to pay a $300 fee for reopening for every subscription. That was at least $4,500 on top of what they lost in the 24 hours they could not do anything. All that because they simply didn't want to pay a $30 late fee. This was r/malicious compliance, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening and subscribe for more.